It's that overdose. Yeah. G-tag on the crack roadside. Every response.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. How is everybody? We'll try something a little bit different this go around coming into our podcast. But I thought we should tie in from one of our songs in the very beginning. So tell us what you think of that.
Just sorting everything out. I do apologise. I'm here. I'm ready. We're back. Another episode of Do or Die Unzipped. Still going. Still going. Today we are going to discuss what it takes to run a successful server. And with this advice, by no means are we, know everything. We're just giving advice from what we've experienced. And we're always on the up. So I guess we can give a bit of advice to everybody and to let everybody know what it takes behind the scenes to run a server.
And unfortunately, not everything is black and white. Everything that you do, every server is obviously going to be run a tad bit different. So it's always going to be a challenge depending on what type of server you're trying to run. We're just going to give you our insight on how, we kind of do things over here at Do or Die. What's made us successful in the last year, where we've come, where we come from. Of course, I know we've touched base on this a few times, but from where we came from to here, what made us so successful, some of the things that we've encountered along the way, the good, the bad, those types.
Goddamn ugly.
The ugly, yes. But this is kind of our insight on, of the stuff that we've encountered, the stuff that we've done, and what we think, what works, what we think works for us may not work for you. If you're listening in, you run a server. But this kind of gives the insight of everybody that's listening in, either into our listening in live and on our any one of our servers, or who's just tuning in and listening to us later, or listening to us live on the web. We definitely appreciate you, and none of this wouldn't be possible if you guys weren't here. And we definitely appreciate everything that you guys do every day.
Oh, 100%. We wouldn't be where we are without everybody else. So if you think you're not doing anything, you are. When we have people come to us and say, I want to help, what can I do? Play on the servers, get our name out there, share it on Facebook, share it on X, share it on whatever social media platform. If someone's looking for a server, bring them this way. Not everyone you talk to is going to choose us, but we'll give it our best to get them across and see how amazing we are.
Absolutely. Every time that you may mention our name, there's always going to be people out there that's going to say, "Oh, that server is a crap server," and it's usually because they. I'll be blunt. It's most time that nine times out of 10 when you hear that, it's because they got banned because of rule violations. And any of you that know, it's not. We give people multiple chances. We don't give multiple
A,
choices.
be banned. B, not be banned. C,
all of the above.
Felicia.
No, we give people multiple chances. Some of you probably have known. You've been here long enough. Some of you may not know at all. I've built a bot that allows us to send multiple warnings, and it gets sent to them directly in a DM. It gets put into their record, so they can view it at any given time on our actual Discord. So you can view it at any given time. That stuff is all private. The only people who see that is you, the person who has that. But we give people multiple warnings before we try to make any rash decision of trying to remove somebody. The only time we absolutely have to remove them is if it's something that is deemed that has to be done at that given time. If you're going out and killing somebody, I'm not going to issue a warning because you went out and killed somebody on a PvE server. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. If you're going out there and you're going to kill somebody, you're going to be permanently banned from all of our servers, no ands, ifs, or buts, unless it's deemed either an accident or self-defense. If somebody's shooting at you or hitting you or trying to kill you, by all means defend yourself. Always defend yourself. But we always recommend, we don't know if you're defending yourself or trying to kill somebody, so clip it, send it in, and staff reviews it. If it's 100% self-defense, the guy fucking was hitting you first, or the guy was threatened to kill you and he pulled a gun and you pulled yours out, or you already had yours out and you shot him, by all means, we done ban you 100% and ban them permanently. We don't tolerate that type of behavior on any of our servers. The only server that you're allowed to kill is our PvP server. We have a PvP server on PlayStation. We also have a PvP server on PC. Those are the only two servers that you can legitimately, take your frustration out and kind of do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, seriously, again, with going back to the stuff that we do, like I said, we issue multiple warnings before we make any rash decision on trying to remove somebody. It's something that we've vowed. We've heard the community always saying that, I was never informed on this, having multiple vehicles, maybe they don't pay attention to the rules. Let's face it, we're all out there, we're all human, although we do have rules on our server. We know that people we like to skimp over things. I'm bad for it. I'm sure that the majority
I am
of
too.
of us are like that. I don't want to read the rules. But when I get banned or have some issues, then it kind of draws me into what happened. Why did this happen? And I know because sometimes it could be frustrating. That's the reason why we have the rules. That's the reason why we implement the bot. Unfortunately, not a lot of people like to read, even though it gets into their DMs. They still don't like to read why they were banned. But it does explain it to you anytime that we issue any type of warning is 100% done as professional as possible. It tells you exactly what map it happened on. It'll tell you exactly what the issue was and why you were given that. And if you see something, if you've had multiple vehicles and it's just you at your base, it will explain that to you in a warning. We don't have very many rules, and we try to do everything we possibly can to make it fair for everybody. We listen to our community. That's the reason why our rules are the way they are. Because I can tell you, I would have never have put the rules the way they are. They weren't like that when we first started, but this is what the community wanted. So we kind of looked at what the community wanted and made our rules accordingly to what the majority of the community, what we heard the majority of the community complain about from other servers or our server, and we vowed to change it to better them and to better our community as well, to give everybody a fair chance. Kat, I don't know if you have any input on any of this.
And if you're if you're lucky enough not to have received one of those warnings yet, excuse me, sorry, then congratulations. You have followed the rules to a T. If you have received a warning, which some of you have, and that's okay. That's why we have a multiple warning system. It's just a, hey, you need to fix this at your base, or hey, we saw this in chat, sort of thing. And sometimes one warning is enough to be like, okay, I won't do it again. I won't do anything again. I'll follow your rules. But it's pretty cool. J-Dog's done a great job on the bot, making things easier for us. I never thought we would have a bot that sends warnings to people's DMs that they have to acknowledge. In a million years, there are bots out there that do that, but we have our own personal one. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Jada, for creating that masterpiece. And I think our staff team will agree with me that it's probably one of the best things we've ever had. Going right back to running a server, having something like that as a tool helps keep people, helps with the retention. You're not just banning people straight away.
Well, that's the biggest thing that unfortunately I hear a lot of times. People are like, I don't know why I was banned. And of course, people get that with us too. But most of the time when you're banned from our servers, it's typically because you've extremely violated our rules. And it's the only time you're ever going to be permanently banned is if you're toxic. Because we don't allow any toxicity in our server, you will be completely removed from our server. I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow it in any of our servers. It's just not something I'll ever allow. Or, your base rating. We have a zero tolerance policy for that. We have 2 servers that you can do it on, and 2 servers only on given days. That's a thing. Other than that, our other servers are PvE only, player versus environment. That does not mean kill. That does not mean base rate. Does not mean anything. Player versus environment is strictly what it says. It's PvE, player versus environment. It's not player versus player. If you're doing any style of base rating, that is a PvE style of gameplay that you're wanting, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have servers for that.
PvP style.
Exactly. But we do everything we possibly can to make it fair and fun for everybody. We don't do things to be assholes. I know a lot of people think that's what we do, but that's just like anybody who runs a server. You know, if you have a bad experience because of that, it's always going to be all they're assholes. Well, it's not because they're assholes. It's because you decided that you didn't want to follow the rules, and unfortunately got removed. And now you're wanting to complain about it because that's typically 9 times out of 10 that's what happens. Unless
Don't
you're
get me
just
wrong.
being toxic.
Yeah, toxic.
We
Bah,
gotta let that.
out
Yeah,
the
I'm
door.
sorry.
We're not having it. You bring drama here, we won't have it. Out the door. Off you go. But you know, we're all human. We are all human, and you know, we can be assholes when we have to be. You know, but I'm also the nicest person you'll ever meet.
I mean, I got kind of a story behind that. I mean, we've had a couple of people who've been permanently banned from our server because of rule violations. They've had 3 warnings. We gave them time after the 3rd warning. They still didn't acknowledge it. They got completely removed from our server. But then instead of going into social media and bitching and complaining about how crappy our server was, instead they found our Facebook page, because we're everywhere on Daisy forums. It's not hard to miss us. Seen it, sent a DM and said, "Hey, I was unfortunately I was fortunately banned from your server. I was just trying to figure out what I got into Discord. I read why. It was my fault. I didn't acknowledge that. I didn't see those messages. We give people multiple weeks to respond. So it's not like it's a daily thing. It's something that we do give you time to look at that, because we know that people don't constantly look at Discord. So, but they acknowledged it. They said they were extremely sorry, for what they did, and it's happened on multiple occasions. In that instance, although they were permanently banned because of the rule violation, we allowed them in to come back in, and they're loving the server. I mean, they absolutely love the server, which is amazing. You know, and they're still a community member to today, and they constantly play on our server. Um, and that's, just because you're banned, it's not, when you get banned from a server, what is the reasoning behind going to social media and bitching? I'm just curious on everybody's thought process on that, because 9 times out of 10, every time I've ever seen anybody complain about something, it always backfires on them, and all it becomes is a back and forth bitch fest between you all. I'm still, I try to figure that out. I don't deal with drama, to be honest with you. If I see it, I most time just block you and ban you from my social media, because I don't much care for it. But I'm just trying to figure out what everybody's thought process on why they do it. Like, what's the point? Because it's not going to get your name out there to help
It's free
you remove them.
advertisement.
Yeah, to be honest with you, all you do is you help the servers more than you hurt them. If that's your goal. Your goal is not if your goal is to help them, then by all means do it, because it's like Cass said, it's free advertisement for us. It's free advertisement for any server like that. All you're doing is going to bring people into that server, not keep people away.
Yeah,
But
because they come in and they go, "Why is this person complaining? What has this server done?" So I'm gonna go try it out, and then they come and play over here, and then they realize that they love it over here, and then they stay. That's the biggest thing. If you're a server owner thinking about running your own server, you know, word of mouth is a big thing. If we're going about and fucking having a go at everybody and not giving warnings and just banning people, we are going to be labelled as the horrible server, and there's no point of coming here because you're just going to get banned. We try and be the approachable, fun server owners. Some of you out there know me well enough that if I'm giving you shit, it means I like you. So, I hope that I'm real enough, and J-Dog, you are 110% you, when you're dealing with people. it's almost like having a customer service voice as well, especially when you're dealing with tickets, and it's I've been banned and I don't know why. And you're looking and you're like, oh, you base rated, which is zero tolerance. You run a PvE server, there's a PvP style play, we won't have it. We may have a conversation back and forth, and it may be that you're a complete asshole, and we end up banning you from Discord because you're not showing us any respect, calling us names. I cannot count how many times I have been called something because I've said, well, you've done this. That is why you've been banned. Look, yesterday, for a matter of fact, I was called a jerk because I asked someone to open up another ticket. It's things like that.
It wasn't even bad. They just wanted a builder truck. So you're like, well, this is a general
this is a
support
general
ticket.
support, yeah.
You need to open up a builder truck because that's how we handle our builder truck stuff. Because again, we have bots for everything, and our bot is designed to look at builder truck tickets, and that's how I designed it. So yeah, everything has to be done the way that they are for a reason. But it wasn't like you were being an asshole. You just said that, hey, can you open up another ticket? And he just went off on you for opening up a ticket. It's like, it takes 2 seconds. It literally takes 2 seconds. You scroll down from your ticket, from your ticket down to ticket support. That's all you have to do. And then click the drop down, press the drop down, hit builder truck, and boom, it's up. So a big thing with and I'll tell you as far as advertisement goes, there's a bot out there. It's called Bump. It's a bittersweet service. Some of you may know. A lot of times people come in because they're trying to advertise things. Of course, I will tell you, if you're going to start a Discord and you're going to use services, I definitely would highly recommend having a security bot. Because if not, you're going to have people are going to come in and they're going to start throwing advertisement stuff in your server, spamming your server, allegedly trying to either I have no idea why they're trying to spam it because most servers Discord does have a built-in raid protection, but having a bot that has raid protection and as a security bot is a must-have for any community server, any server that you're trying to start, whether it's public or private. You definitely want some sort of security bot if you're going to allow people coming in and out of that server. Because although you may think that person is a good, at any given time, their account could be hacked. At any given time, they could just go AWOL and start spamming your Discord with things.
We had it.
We have had it on a couple of different occasions. So definitely would highly recommend if it's something to run a successful server, to have some sort of security bot out there. My cat Roscoe wants to say hi. We have roughly 8 minutes before the Chinar server resets, so we'll probably close up in about 8 minutes. This segment that puts us at the 30-minute mark. Everybody on Chinars, thank you for tuning in. Everybody out there on any of our servers, thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to say that. But we've got about 8 minutes before we close up this segment here.
Yes. Ooh.
Well, we'll talk about some of the things. Obviously, running a successful business, we've always vowed some things that we've always vowed from. I won't say day one, but I'll say within the first month we started implementing this when we switched our bot over from CarlBot, which I'm just gonna say CarlBot is in my opinion, it's not as good as some of the other bots, but we use another bot out there. Obviously, most people probably know Me6. It's kind of well known. It's one of the bigger bots out there. We like some of the features about it. But with that, it also has a segment in there for giveaways. And, we've always vowed for us, we've always wanted to give back to the community. We never force anything upon anybody. We always love giving back. We absolutely hate receiving. I know a lot of people love, helping the community, but me personally, I absolutely hate it. I no offense to anybody out there. I know you guys want to support us, and we absolutely love that so much. But I love giving back more than I like to receive, if that makes any sense. I would rather give back to the amazing community that made us who we are today than for you to want to support us. I always love giving back.
But that's a good point, actually, you bring up there. Where does the money go? What does it cost? What does it currently cost to run all of our servers? Roughly?
I mean, to run everything that we currently run, this goes with bots, Nitrado stuff, everything in between, because obviously I have custom bots and stuff like that, so I have my own service. It's roughly right around $500 is what I spend each month for everything that we run. You have to think just our Trinara server alone is $75. Just our Trinara server alone, because it's a 50 slot. We have 7 servers that we run. And everything else, although we only play for like 2 bots. Actually, not even 2 bots, because I paid a lifetime membership, so we don't even pay for a bot. That has nothing to do with paying for even bots in our server. Everything is all coded in by myself, because I do that. But in order to keep those bots online, I do pay a small fee. It's roughly, I think, $10 or $15 a month to keep all your bots online. And this is to keep them secured, steady, up and running, and keeping the APIs running. But it's every little thing that you do. It does cost a little bit, and it's roughly right around $500 is what I pay each month to keep all 7 of our servers running.
So your donations, affiliate program memberships, they appreciate them so much. We thank you all, those of you that have donated and put money in towards the server. We appreciate it, but we are definitely a non-profit. Right? We would rather put it back and give it back.
Well, we have 3 minutes, so within those 3 minutes, I want to just say, if you guys haven't seen our new giveaway, Kat, I'll let you do that. You're excited about this. I want to let everybody know, people who is not in our Discord on our games, or people who are thinking about joining, listening in. If you just want to tell them about our upcoming giveaway, because I would love to see as many people as possible.
Yeah. So upcoming giveaway, we obviously hit 1,000 members, which we talked about last week. And we decided that we were going to do quite a big giveaway, and it could potentially change someone's whole DayZ life. If you're playing on a PS4, especially. We are giving away a PS5. That is fucking huge, right? So, get yourself in Discord, click on the giveaways, make sure you're entered. 31st of March, the winner gets announced. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, while we have about 30 seconds, I'm very thankful and very glad. Thank you all so much for everything that you guys do for us. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you so much. I'm going to wrap this up. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you next week.
Bye. See you next week.